Welcome back, troglodytes. We've got a pretty rare guitar today. What do you think it is? This is obviously a Flying V case. It looks pretty old. Maybe it's from the 70s or early 80s. Let's find out. Why, it's a 1982 Gibson Flying V2. Alright, so a little bit of an abridged history of this guitar. The 80s rolled around, Gibson was trying new things. They were starting to really look into doing reissues, such as like the Heritage series of Les Pauls. But I guess they were tired of doing Flying Vs and Explorers in a normal way since their reintroduction around 76. Whereas the Flying V was, I think they brought it back in 68. And sporadically made them. But they brought back the Flying V and the Explorer in 1980 in a new way. This new way of making Vs and Explorers basically meant just adding a lot of contouring to the body, which in return kind of gave them a funky overall shape, because instead of seeing the far outline of a regular V, now you have this kind of contoured body that it can look a little goofy, and I think that's why I kind of like these guitars, is they do look a little goofy. They're not your standard V, and you're not your standard Explorer, but they are still very cool guitars. Each the Explorer and the V got the E2 and V2 on their truss rod covers. And the E2s were spared from the contouring for I think a year or so, until I think it was 81 when they started doing the contouring. And that really looks good on the Explorers, I think. The Vs are the ones that get a little bit goofy. For some reason, these things remind me of a horror film like The Scream. I don't know, something about them, they just have that contouring to them. This particular one is a rare one from 1982. Sales were not so good on these guitars. 1980, 1981, they actually had a brand new type of pickup. It was in the shape of a boomerang, and that kind of adds to the whole spookiness of them. And those ones actually had a little bit cut out of their fretboard right here to make room for that pickup. Which, that's all really interesting. But, they sounded very Strat-like, if I remember correctly. You can check out the Bahama Blue one I have here on YouTube. That one had a scalloped fretboard, though. But this one is the rare last of the V2s where they switched back to your standard humbuckers. This one is player's grade. Pretty much anything of interest has been swapped out, so that keeps the price down for you, so a player can actually enjoy this one. So enough about a brief, vague history of the E2 and V2s. Let's take a look at this guitar. The headstock is in worn shape. As you can see, there's quite a few scratches and nicks and dings from string changes and whatnot. But truss rod functions perfectly. It's nice and smooth to move. You can see you have some stand rash on the sides. I guess this side's not too bad, but definitely on that side. You have your stock brass nut, which I've polished up so it looks like new. And you do have some considerable fret wear on this one. I mean, they're worn pretty, low, and they've got some light divoting. It still plays fine, but, if you're used to super tall frets, it might take some adjusting to get used to these. But, I mean, they're very characteristics of the late 70s, early 80s frets. Alright, so your pickups have been replaced. They're Gibson USA. I'll put the readings in the description of the listing. You can see that the bridge pickup has some wear and tear on the cover, some dents and tarnishing, but the neck is in good shape. You got your original tiny little pick guard there But you got lots of little nicks and dings. I mean, once again, this is a player's grade guitar. And your input jack, for whatever reason, they put right here. And I thought, hey, that's kind of cool. It's on the side. That sounds good to me until I sat down to play this thing. That's usually where your leg is when you play these guitars. So if you're mainly a sit-down kind of guitarist, you're going to have to use a strap to be able to even sit down with this guitar. But you got some dings there and some paint chips there. And you do have some finish checking, kind of like all over this guitar, and like just little marks here. I'm hoping that'll kind of show on the Blacklight. We'll see here, but you can see some dings there. I mean, by no means is this guitar, you know, in excellent shape or anything. I'm trying to show you. Yeah, there you go. You got some finish checking there, and it's just like peekaboo checking. Like, you don't see it all the time, so it's really hard to get a 100% accurate listing on this guitar, but I'm going to do my best here. The back of the guitar is actually pretty clean, but you do have some more of that finish checking that we were talking about, so let's take a look. Alright, as you can see here, you've got some more of that finish checking, and I don't believe I mentioned the finish of this. It's actually candy apple red, so that's a fairly rare finish, and very nice, and it is known for doing this. These aren't breaks, they're not cracks, they're not repairs, they're just little finish checks, actually pretty big finish checks, but they are what they are. You can see there, that is a fairly early 82. Kalamazoo made in USA stamp. And as you can see, the tuners have been replaced. They did not sink new holes there, so if you wanted to switch back to an original style tuner, you could. Or I actually toyed with this. You can actually tilt these to the side so they line up. And you have enough clearance here that you can do it all the way up. So that is an option if you want to put those guide screws in there, but the tuners function just fine without them. Back of the neck is in good shape. You do have some more finish checking, but once again, they're not breaks, cracks, or repairs. It's just kind of how the candy apple red finish is. It's very prone to, you know, checking, as I said before. So back of the neck in good shape. A little bit of wear and tear there. Once you get in the light in the back, you do see quite a few, you know, scratches, you know, buckle rash and whatnot. Original strap buttons yet. But just, you know, it's a player's guitar. It is what it is. I mean, if you're looking for something kind of new and goofy to play around with, I would say this is a very good guitar to do that with. It still has the original pots, but once again, pickups have been replaced and all that. You can see the sides are in good shape. There's that ding kind of there. I would almost say what kind of led to the defeat of this model is it was over-contoured. I love the comfort cutaways on like the pawls and things like that. But for, you know, when there's so much contouring, it kind of destroys the purpose of the contour. As you can see, you got some light wear and tear there. I will mention here, the bridge on this guitar, I guess tailpiece, is actually pretty cool. It looks like it's a string through design, but it's not. It just kind of locks the guitar, or strings in place there, which is really interesting. It does still retain its original case, and, you know, for a Flying V case from, you know, the 80s, it's actually in pretty good shape. Most of these get beat up so bad that they're falling apart. But you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's right, 6 latches on this puppy. That's a lot of latches. Original handle. As you can see, you got some tearing on the Tolex and whatnot. Gibson logo still there. Oh, did I miss one? That's how many there are. I just didn't get this. Okay. And the inside is red. A very nice red. And I do keep extra bubble wrap in here because I don't feel one neck rest is enough. But that's just kind of how this vintage case is. If you'd rather upgrade to a custom shop Flying V case for a little bit more money, I can get you into that. But Even these vintage Flying V cases can sell, anywhere from $200 to $250 in this kind of shape, so that's always an option too if you don't like it. It weighs 7 pounds, 14.1 ounces. I mean, it's a very solid feeling guitar. Most of the weight I feel comes from the body. And the ebony fretboard's very nice on this one as well. Alright, Blacklight time. Once again, you can see the stand rash there. And you got a little bit in the corner there. You don't really see the front part in person as much, but it is there. Once again, it's an ebony fretboard. Original inlays and all that. Onto the front of the guitar. It is the original bridge and tail piece, just the pickups have been replaced. It looks like the knobs are still original, or at least vintage. And there you can see that light ding and some finish wear on the sides there. But overall, it is the original finish. But once again, it's not really showing the peekaboo finish checking that well. You can see original finish back of the headstock. No breaks, cracks, or repairs, as discussed earlier. You can see there is a little bit of the clear coat worn away there from playing that you can't see with the naked eye. That's always what this Blacklight test is really good for. Looks like you got a little bit of a ding there. And you can see your finish checking. But you can see no buckle rash is like destroying the finish or anything. So it's a very nice guitar here. You can see that ding on the side. You can see some finish checking stemming from that strap button as well. I mean, there's a lot of finish checking on this guitar. I won't lie, but once again, it's the peekaboo finish checking, so it's really difficult for me to even show it. There you go. There's the Blacklight test. So there you go. If you think you might want to be the next owner of this beautiful, rare, obscure abomination, feel free to contact me on my Facebook page. Facebook.com/Troglys, Troglys. You can also check out the reverb listing. All joking aside, the V2 has always had a special place in my heart. The first V2 I had, it was that Bahama Blue. Somebody scalloped the fretboard. But the pickups, they sounded cool in that guitar, but I would probably say the humbucker version's definitely better. And I don't know, the V2s are just kind of cool, but I love those really weird, obscure guitars. So, if you're in the market for one of these, I think this is a very good example to choose from, because it's going to be about half the price of all the other ones out there.